just look at that beautiful color on these ribs. Wow. Hey, what do you say, weekend warriors? Let's smoke a slab of ribs today in the Pit Boss pellet smoker. And there's a twist. We're gonna be running the smoker off of a portable power station. Bluetti, the manufacturer of this thing, reached out to me, said, hey Mike, would you like to do a review? I said, absolutely. I think you guys would be interested in watching this. And this thing is an absolute beast. I'll have a link for you in the description
down below.
And look, I am not new to these portable power supplies. I've got videos dating way back where I'm using smaller ones to use a different pellet smoker. I've got an even smaller one that can jumpstart a car battery. You could charge your phone many, many times on one of this size. And then I've got one that's even smaller. This would be like for a single charge, just to get you through. Maybe your cell phone has died at the airport. And those are great. This is more for your RV person, or maybe you do a lot of camping, or like me, I don't camp as much anymore, but I do like to have some backup emergency power. It's nice to know that I've got it. So in a real power outage, depending on what was going on in the world, I might use one of my charcoal grills like this Yakitori. I've got my wood burning offset smoker. I can bake, I can smoke, I can grill. And this is just gonna give me one more option. This pellet smoker uses far less energy than my electric oven in the kitchen. And the reason for that is these pellet smokers use wood pellets for heat, not pure electricity, so it's not as big of a draw. Let's get into the specifics here, and then we'll move on to actually making the ribs. So with this unit, you're going to get the charger. This thing is massive. That comes with it. You're gonna get solar panel cables. If you want to charge this thing with solar panels, that's nice. And then you're gonna get a car charger, the cigarette lighter type. That all comes with it in the bag along with the instructions. Okay, right down here on the side, this is where you would plug in the wall charger right into your outlet in the wall. And this one here would be for your solar panel hookup. And just as an example, here's one of my portable solar panels. I didn't want to go permanent and put them up on the roof just in case I move in a couple years. You know, I can take this with me, and these are awesome. This is a 200-watt solar blanket. I have two of them, and what I would do is just wire these in series and then hook it up to the AC200P, and we could charge it that way. Or you can charge with both solar and electricity coming out of the outlet in your wall to make it even faster, which is really cool. On top of the unit, they're giving you two 15-watt wireless charging outputs. Put your cell phones on here. I love that, so that we're not using up USB ports down below. Now overall, this thing weighs just over 60 pounds. It's very heavy. There's two handles on top, which you're gonna need to move it. This is a 2,000 watt hour lithium iron phosphate power station, and this is rated at 3,000 cycles to 80%, meaning you can let this thing go down to zero, recharge it 3,000 times. So just over 8 years if you did that every single day. After that, of course, the battery is still good. It's just not going to charge over 80%. So this is really gonna last you a very long time. They're giving you a generous 6 20 amp 3-prong outlets. These are AC outlets, and this is probably all I'll ever use for my needs. You're getting 4 USB 5-volt 3 amp outlets, and then 1 PD outlet rated at 60 watts. Okay, over here on the DC power, you're getting a 12 volt 10 amp cigarette lighter output. You're getting a 12 volt 3 amp output here. These are 5.5 millimeter jacks. For those of you who do RVing and off-gridding, you probably know more about those than me. And then as far as outputs go, the last one on here is a 12 volt 25 amp output. There's a special cable you order for this, which allows you to hook it up to, say, a transfer switch or a breaker panel. Let's take a look at the LCD touchscreen. Keep in mind, I am in early January and the sun is very low in the sky. It's kind of hitting that screen in a way that we can't see it outside. And we're going to hit the power button. The screen will light up. And you're going to see right off the bat that the battery is at 92%. When this shipped to me, it was around 75%. But I was playing around with it last night. I charged it all the way up. I had all kinds of stuff plugged into it. And this is kind of where I left off last night. So we have all these AC outlets over here. If you want to turn on AC, it's that simple. Now all those are on. If you want to turn on all the DC, we can turn those on. There's a bunch of settings in here. You can set this to eco mode. Your AC output voltage, you can set it to 100 volts or 120. AC output, 50 hertz or 60 hertz. And then DC input source, I've got it set to solar. I do have a bunch of solar panels, and what a great day to use them. Let's do a quick test on the power inverter. I'm not worried about the smoker. I know it doesn't draw that much, but here I have an indoor grill. Hey, let's say, you know, it's a natural disaster. You don't want to be outside. It's raining, whatever the case, and you want to be able to cook something inside. This will be a good test for that. So let's get this plugged in. All right, and I have it set to 450 degrees, and we're going to turn on both burners. So let's hit start. And I'll open this up. And we'll look over here right now. We're pulling about 1600 watts at the moment. So this can definitely handle the heavy duty appliances. This would not be my first choice just because at 1800 watts, this thing is not going to last very long. But definitely you could cook up a quick burger or a quick steak if you needed to. And hey, now that you've run the battery all the way down, what about charging? So I'm going to use the wall charger here, and I'll point something out. First thing you're going to see is the wall adapter. This should kick on here and show us how much is coming in. 456 watts. So this does charge relatively fast here. At this rate, you're looking at about 5.5, maybe 6 hours. But you can double up on the chargers. You can do the wall outlet and solar and get this thing charged in probably half the time. So that is saying a lot for something this big, and that's impressive to me. All right, enough talking. Let's get these ribs going. So I'm going to plug in the smoker, and we're going to cook a little bit hotter than normal today. Let's go 275 Fahrenheit. Let's turn it on. And you may or may not be able to see it, but it is pulling 228 watts, which is really not bad considering the most draw is in the beginning. Not only do you have the auger spinning, but you also have the igniter rod. That's drawing the most energy. And here we go. We've got some smoke coming out. We'll wait for that to clear, and then we're going to get these ribs in. All right, let's take a look at these ribs here. We've got to do a little bit of trimming. Some pieces like this hanging off. Just check and feel, make sure there's no shards of bone. Okay, same thing on this side. Just cut that little flap off. Then we'll see about taking this membrane off. Pulls right off. And then as far as barbecue rub, this is one of my favorites. Honey Chipotle Killer Bee. It's really good. I'm gonna hit this up on both sides. We'll go ahead and throw these right into the smoker, right about the center rack there. We'll get the door closed. And I'm gonna come back in 2 hours. We'll check on the ribs, we'll check on the power station, see how those are doing. And I can't wait. It's been a while since I've done some ribs. And we're coming up on about 2 hours. The battery is down to 85%. I think we started at 92. So it's doing really good. And let's check on the ribs. See how those are doing. Oh yeah, looking good. Some nice pull back on the bones already. We're gonna flip them over and let the meat side cook down for about an hour. I'll tell you what, I really like this unit so far. With all the craziness going on in the world, the crazy weather, power outages, this is something you definitely want to have on hand. This is going to be really nice on the overnight brisket cooks when I want to use a pellet smoker. Our power is known to flash on and off throughout the night. All it takes is 1 second of losing power. This thing shuts off. You come out in the morning and your brisket is ruined. Great way to use one of these. We're gonna let these ribs go for another hour. We'll come back, sauce them up, and see how they turn out. We are 3 hours into this cook. The battery level is now at 82%. So we've used up about 10% of the battery thus far. And these ribs are gonna fall apart. They're so tender. You can see it breaking right there. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lather them up with some Cockeye Barbecue Original. Really good sauce. Kind of like doing them like this, but if you wanted, you could wrap these in foil and really, really make them tender. But we're just gonna do it like this today. Get this side covered. Do the same thing on this side, and then we're gonna close the door and let that sauce kind of thicken up a little bit. Just look at that beautiful color on these ribs. Wow. Hey, that was a lot of fun. It was easy to do. The Bluetti AC200P did exactly what it was supposed to do. No complaints from me. I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. If you are in the market for one of these, check that link below. They've got this one. They have bigger ones, smaller ones, depending on your needs. And let's try a rib and see how they turned out. Oh man.